Hey, it's me, Destiny Brand, founder of It's Destiny Sales Recruiting, and hopefully your recruiter. I wanted to make a video today about self-care in sales. It seems like one of the most obvious things ever, right? Gym, tan, laundry. You can't put your best foot forward if you're not eating well, getting outside, taking care of your body, moving, learning, and just being a well-rounded human. But let's be honest, sales is truly one of the most soul-sucking, physically demanding roles, and I think that it ends up becoming like very disheartening when you realize they've told me day one I need to be in the gym. They tell me day one that I need to be seeking out therapy or understanding who I am. But yet, when life gets in the way, pipeline gets in the way, all of these recessions get in the way, it can be incredibly hard to take care of yourself. So, step one is stop with the negative self talk. If you can start paying attention to what's kind of going on behind your brain, what kind of negative thoughts are coming up, ask yourself, is this my original thought, or is this a thought that the media has told me I need to believe about myself? In a world that profits off of our insecurities, we need to remember that we are more than enough. So ask yourself, where is this feeling coming from? Am I feeling it in my body? Am I hearing in the back of my head constantly, I'm lazy, I'm not doing enough? And then ask yourself, where did this feeling potentially come from? Was it my upbringing? Did I grow up, in the kind of house where like you don't sleep on the weekend, you get up, you do chores, you're productive, every moment of the day should be optimized. So ask yourself, is this my original thought? Is this a thought that I've been conditioned to believe? And how does that thought, or how did that thought, negative thought or feeling serve me at one point? So for a lot of us, being overachievers, especially if you choose sales for a career, those thoughts did serve us, right? It taught us to make no excuses, show up every day. But does that thought necessarily help you in the way that it did help you to get to this point? Now, I do understand that there's a lot of privilege in this statement, right? For a lot of us with humble upbringings, we can't forget about the work that put us here. Like there is the noise, the chatter, that if I take a break, if I rest, or if it's consistent or long, that in everything that I've worked for can slip through my fingers. And I cannot stress this enough for anyone who's watching that video. I 100% get that. So take everything that I'm saying with a giant grain of salt, because I am still learning to practice what I preach. But, find a way to just understand, or, when you're feeling being triggered, whether that's through someone that you're engaging with, or, like even through yourself, and just like when you're alone, triggering is an opportunity to understand yourself more. So when you're feeling some sort of way, maybe you notice that you're getting a tight chest or a shortness of your breath, or maybe you actually get to a point where you hear the nasty, disgusting things that you were saying to yourself. Take a moment to reflect on what that feeling is, where you feel it in your body, where that feeling came from, honoring that part of yourself that developed that feeling, and then let it go because it no longer serves you now. I think one thing when it talks about feelings or feeling it in our body and all this sort of stuff, people don't even know their feelings. I've realized, at least for me, it's like I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm anxious, I'm uncomfortable, I'm whatever, right? And it's just like very generic kind of feelings. So that's why we have on our self-care and sales some of the more nuanced of feelings. I think that especially in sales, like it is very easy to be triggered or feel some sort of way. And again, just being able to recognize what that feeling is, where it comes from, and how it does or does not serve us in that moment. Attachment styles is something that I also kind of bring up a lot in my coaching or working with candidates and founders as closely as I do, which is, what is your attachment style and how does that serve you or not serve you in sales? I personally think that I have a combination of both anxious and attachment, and it makes for a great salesperson. I am anxious when needed. I'll ask all the right questions. I'll make sure that I'm involving myself and enmeshing myself in the deal as much as possible. But then there's this point where my more avoidant side ends up playing in, and I know that, okay, I've done what I needed to do, and now it's on my buyer to find common, or on my candidates to find, common ground between us. So maybe just understanding a little bit more about your attachment style, if that's something that you haven't done with your self-work, will just help you understand, why do you get attached to things? Why do you get detached to things? Who are you? Why do you make the decisions that you do as it relates to your life, how you engage in relationships, or just the attachment or detachment that you have as it relates to your sales cycle and your sales career. It's so important in sales, like I said in the beginning of this video, to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Sales has never been harder before. There's always something to do, someone to call, something to learn, something to build. And at the end of the day, you are more than enough just the way you are. Take care of yourself, reflect. Everything will work out. If you haven't been told today, you're doing an amazing job. Cheers to you. Drink your water, get outside, do your stretches, drop your shoulders, remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Everything will align. High activity wins. The fastest person doesn't always win the race. So while being proactive, being intentional, doing everything you can to make your dreams come true is the only option for many of us, we cannot get there if we are not taking care of ourselves physically and mentally and reflecting on who we are, how we've developed some of these rules or approaches to life, and then deciding who we want to become with the way that we manage our own expectations, the way that we think, the way that we feel, and the way that we ultimately end up applying all of these lessons throughout life in the sales cycle. You're awesome. Take care of yourself.